friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 707. Tighten that neighborhood, my brothers and sisters, as we proceed to give you what you need. We are going back to Ryan from Tragedy Tales. Back to Tragedy Tales, Bean Team. Hope y'all doing excellent out there today. And I'm glad that you came on back to the channel once again to help with the bean. And the title of the video is Botched Backflip, 5 clips before horror, number 19. Now, I just don't like the title of this at all, y'all, because it seems to me, long story short, story long, someone was trying to do a backflip and they end up landing on their neck and breaking it in the end of their life. You know what I'm saying, man? But I don't know, but we're about to see. But before we see, my brothers and sisters, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. We are back to Ryan from Tragedy Tales. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's go.
Watching the moments before tragedy, the seconds before someone's precious life is snatched away, will always be eerily haunting. For me, it reminds me of our own fragile mortality and ensures that I never forget that any day could literally be my last. And once again, in this video, we're going to take a look at 5 more chilling examples of clips captured right before horror. From a terrifying motorcycle clip in the UK to the infamous Italy cable car incident, this video has footage from the darkest ends of the internet that I guarantee will leave your hair standing on end. So strap in and get ready. Let's get right into it.
Get whatever you may need. Number 5.
Jumping straight into the deep end, this first horrifying clip was recorded on August the 5th, 2017, in Umlazi, South Africa, a township located southwest of Durban in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, Umlazi is one of the largest townships in the country. Known for its rich cultural history and vibrant community, among the many local pastimes, one popular event is gathering at the local hall to watch bodybuilding competitions. These events drew large crowds, with spectators eager to cheer on their hometown athletes. On that fateful day, a crowd of 100 spectators filled the local town hall, ready to see some epic feats of strength. One of the competitors that year was 23-year-old Sifiso Thabit, a rising star in the bodybuilding world. Sifiso, despite being only 23, was known for his impressive physique and his showmanship. He had an extremely powerful upper body that drew crowds from all across town. He also earned widespread recognition for winning the International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness Junior World Championships earlier in 2017. So he was extremely good at what he did, and he was very in shape. That day, as the spectators awaited the ripped bodybuilders, the room's atmosphere was electric. Crowds chanted and screamed, but sadly, this year's bodybuilding competition would turn into something far more tragic, captured in a clip that would soon shock the entire world. All captured on camera, Sifiso greeted the crowd with confidence, wearing his signature black posing trunks as well as his bright white smile. The crowd cheered, and Safiso, also known for his flair in performances, decided to make it extra special. In all the hype of the moment, he prepared to execute a daring backflip right in front of the crowd, something that he had done before to great results. However, this time, something went terribly wrong. In front of the crowd of spectators, Safiso ran forward to the center of the room where a crash mat was located, and he greeted the crowd. Without hesitating, he then crouched down and swung his arms back for momentum and attempted the backflip. In a blink of an eye, he launched into the air, but it was instantly clear to all that he had fatally miscalculated this trick.
Oh.
He's one of our own here, Gamdazi.
And just so crazy, y'all, real quick, man. I'm just thinking about, look at all the people in the crowd witnessing this ish happen. And then more importantly, look at the little children. It's little children that are about to watch this man lose his life right in front of them. Some type of ish that'll never leave you for the rest of your life, especially if you see it as a little child. This is so tragic, man.
And he's a world champ. He's going to defend it in overseas. Since you know our country, they don't support us. That's why we are with to all of you guys.
His rotation was far too slow, and instead of completing the flip, instead, he crashed down onto the floor, straight onto his neck and upper spine. The once cheering crowd now turned to a stunned silence.
In overseas, since you know our country, they don't support us. That's why we are with to all of you guys. Let them help us. Try what you know. Oh yes, sorry man, I know. I should know, you don't see that. I'm sorry.
Like, it's just so crazy how the mood in an entire room filled with many people could just change just like that. You know what I'm saying, man? Just a second earlier when he was running out, the whole crowd, everybody all happy, they screaming and all that, and then boom, just like that, everything changed. Boom, just for him, he had lost his life. It's crazy, y'all, man. Life is freaking crazy.
People rushed to his aid, but it was clear he had been seriously injured. Safiso remained on his back on the floor unconscious. Despite being rushed to hospital, the damage proved fatal. He sustained a broken neck from the botched backflip, and this injury proved too catastrophic, and sadly he died later that day. His death not only shocked the local community, but also shocked the bodybuilding sphere. A promising young talent had been snatched away, all because he messed up one simple trick. What seemed like a fun bodybuilding competition turned into tragedy within just the opening act. His funeral took place a week later, with many local bodybuilders attending to pay their respects to an aspiring athlete lost far too soon.
Damn, man. Rest in peace to him, first and foremost, being team. But it's just, that was one of those cases where it seemed like, man, God just was calling you home. It just was your time to go. It's just so freakish how it happened. And then Ryan said that wasn't his first time doing this. It was a part of his routine every time he come out. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the things he do. He do a backflip and the crowd go crazy. Except for this time, the crowd was freaking stunned. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the crowd have seen him do backflips before. You know what I'm saying, man? But for some reason, this time it ended his life. Long story short, short story long. I digress, being team. Let's keep going to number 4. Number 4.
This next truly shocking footage originates in the east of England, in a quiet village known as Hollingham, situated in the county of Norfolk, on June the 8th, 2013. On that fateful summer's day, 38-year-old David Holmes attended a bike meeting in Kings Lynn, a town in Norfolk. This area is a popular gathering place for motorcycle enthusiasts in the region, where multiple bike fans would meet together and show off their impressively fast motorcycles, share experiences, and ride together. David is also known for his passion for motorcycles, as well as his love of going very fast on them. He had been riding motorbikes for years and was very experienced. His enthusiasm for riding often led him to participate in these car meets or motorcycle meets all across Norfolk and beyond, and to capture the thrill of these rides, David frequently recorded his journeys using a helmet-mounted camera, capturing everything from his perspective. Of course, with motorbikes, it's all fun and games until it's suddenly not. That day, after spending some time at the motorcycle meet, David began making his way back home on his silver Yamaha FJR 1300, riding along the A47 motorway in Hodingham Village. His 1300cc bike was an absolute powerhouse, capable of reaching speeds of up to 155 miles an hour, or around 250 kilometers an hour. As seen on his helmet camera footage, David was pushing the limits of what his machine could do. He was speeding excessively, overtaking over vehicles, and just having fun on the road. Now, David's love for speed was something that his friends and family knew all too well, and it often concerned his family. They were worried that one wrong move from him or another driver at these kind of speeds could well be catastrophic. As David sped along the A47, one of Norfolk's busiest roads, his speedometer hit well over 100 miles an hour, with his average speed for the journey being 97 miles an hour. Now that's just absolutely ridiculous for a public road. He was travelling far beyond the 60 mile an hour speed limit that was on the road.
I agree, Ryan. This is absolutely ridiculous how fast he going. But I feel like this is one of those cases of you keep playing with fire, eventually you gonna get burned, man. He keep goddamn driving this fast, especially in areas like this, 60 mile per hour, and you over 100. You keep on playing with that fire, it's gonna burn you at some time.
Then, as it often does in these videos, tragedy struck with brutal force. Captured entirely by his helmet camera, David could be seen flying down the A47 when all of a sudden, a Renault Clio driven by 69-year-old Benjamin Austin made a right turn directly into his path.
Oh.
At the time, David was traveling at an estimated 95 miles an hour, giving him no time to react or take any evasive maneuvers. In a flash, he crashed into the front of the Clio, destroying both the bike and the car. As he impacted, he was thrown violently into the air and landed in the nearby bushes. Now, the forces at play here, no human can survive that kind of impact. This crash was utterly unsurvivable. He would have landed on the ground and suffered intense internal injuries and most likely broken his neck and his back. Ambulances rushed to the scene, but of course, David had died on impact. There was nothing that they could do, and he was pronounced dead at the side of the road. Eerily, he had recorded his own death.
Yeah.
When officers later reviewed the footage from his helmet camera, it revealed the full scope of this deadly accident. David's excessive speed and riding style showed a clear lack of care for his own safety, as well as everyone else on the road. Benjamin Austin, the guy who was driving the Clio, claimed that he hadn't seen David coming at all. However, police pointed out that there was no reason that he shouldn't have. Despite his insane speed, witnesses that were behind Benjamin's car said that they had seen David approaching from a distance for quite some time. According to their statements, David would have been visible for at least 7 seconds before Benjamin made the turn.
Man, I don't know if Benjamin seen David or not. That's just besides the fact of what I'm tripping off right now. Man, did y'all just see those two pictures? Did you see the picture of the car? Did you see the picture of the bike? Like, when you actually see the picture of these wrecks, the damage that was done, it just leave you freaking like with your mouth wide open, just speechless. Like, whoa, my God. Almost made me put two words together. I was trying to say whoa and oh at the same time. Pink team, real talk, man. Damn, dude. And I'm finna say something that's crazy, but I just wish that some kind of way this was possible. It is possible, but I don't think it will help anything. I wish there was some type of seatbelt for freaking motorcycles. I know that kind of sound crazy, being team, or they may already have some type of seatbelt thing, but it really won't help the fact of if anybody get into a freaking accident like this, riding on a freaking motorcycle, regardless of not going that freaking fast, if you got a seatbelt on or not, you more than likely ain't gonna make it, being team. Like, I don't know what we can do about that, but hopefully in the future we can figure something out. Oh man, let's go.
Now this is just tragic all around. Over a year after the crash, Benjamin Austin appeared in court and showed extreme remorse for the whole thing. In court, he pleaded guilty to causing death by careless driving, admitting that he had not seen David. The court acknowledged the tragic nature of this whole ordeal, but also emphasized that David's excessive speed was a significant contributing factor. Benjamin was sentenced to a 12-month community order, as well as 130 hours of unpaid work, as well as receiving an 18-month driving ban. After David's tragic death, his mother, Brenda Holmes, turned her grief into a mission to raise awareness about road safety and to save others. She made the difficult decision to release her son's final moments to the public, believing that the footage could serve as a warning to others about the dangers of speeding.
David was the most wonderful son. He was never a tearaway. He never ever got into trouble. He was just polite, friendly, kind, generous, had so much to give. And his friends describe him as a legend and a gentleman. Driver didn't see him and turned right across his path. David didn't have time to take evasive action. This isn't an easy thing to do, but I just hope that somebody benefits from it, that motorists slow down.
Yes.
They look before they turn to junctions. They think, as a motorcyclist, yeah, he's going fast, what might he do? Motorcyclists think, as a car driver, what might he do?
Instantly upon releasing this footage, the video went viral, quickly gaining over 20 million views on social media. So, if you're going to take anything away from this case, it's to be vigilant while driving and don't speed. Even if you're not speeding, this thing can happen to anyone on either side.
Yeah.
It takes only one mistake to cause deaths like this. You may be the best driver in the world, but that doesn't account for every other person on the road's mistakes. So be careful, drive safe, and don't forget to look twice, because you might have just missed a speeding motorbike.
Facts, Ryan. Freaking facts, man. We all gotta just try to do our best when we out here driving on the road, y'all. So not even just look, and I spoke about this on my latest live stream when I was talking about how mama always told me, man, don't just look out for yourself, look out for the other person. You know what I'm saying, man? Seriously, being team. And it's one thing that I gotta bring up, and maybe some of y'all gonna disagree with me, but I don't think Benjamin should have been charged with nothing. Like, I'll just say this. I don't think that he should have got the 18-month community service or something like that. And then he got his driver license revoked for however long of a time. I think that's what the 18 months, something like that, man. I don't feel like he should have had to face any consequences for this, for real, because if we just keeping it real, being team, and rest in peace to David. God bless the dead, but we just keeping it real. This is his fault. Just long story short, story long, man. He doing over 100 miles per hour. If you pay attention to the footage right there, it looked like he was crossing over lanes, just driving recklessly as elf on this freaking motorcycle. And whether Benjamin seen him or not, I know they charged Benjamin with careless driving or reckless driving. If he seen him or not, I really just don't think that none of this is his fault, man. And I'm pretty sure Benjamin feel bad about what freaking happened too. Like, this was just a freak accident, man. Like, maybe Benjamin was on his phone texting somebody, whatever, being team. I'm just saying, man. I just sadly but truly feel like that was all David's fault right there, man. He should have never been speed, should have never been driving recklessly, switching lanes and doing all that and all that. He kept playing with fire until he got burned. Let's go to number 3. So far, so good. So far, so good. Number 3.
This next horrifying clip originates from Motorone, a peaceful mountain nestled between 2 lakes, recorded on May the 23rd, 2021. To get up and down this mountain, there was a cable car called the Strese Alpino Motorone cable car. Now, this cable car was a popular attraction connecting the towns of Strese to the summit of Motorone. Motorone stands at 1,492 meters above sea level and is absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
The cable car ride up and down the mountain was more than just a way of getting up and down easily. It was an experience. Passengers were treated to breathtaking views as the cabin ascended 2 sections, offering panoramic views of the lakes nearby, as well as beautiful views of the distant alpine peaks and lush forested hills. On that spring afternoon, the Strese Motorone cable car, designed to carry up to 47 passengers, had only 15 people on board. These 15 people included families, tourists, as well as hikers, all enjoying what seemed like a calm, peaceful ride to the top. Of course, that day, they hopped into the cable car and it began taking them up the mountainside. They must have whacked out their phones and recorded the beautiful journey to the top. I bet they were having the time of their lives. Now, the journey to the top was smooth, and CCTV footage from the summit station showed the cabin approaching its final stop, gliding smoothly just 5 meters away from the platform. As it came in for its final stop, the cable car continued rising until exactly 12:22 p.m. All of a sudden, a loud hiss echoed out, followed by the sharp snap of metal under extreme tension. Without any warning, the main haulage cable had failed, leaving the cabin unsupported. The CCTV footage showed a violent jolt as the cabin suddenly began rolling backwards down the steep mountain slope.
Oh my God, man. Can you imagine how them people was freaking out when that ish did that? Like, they still inside, and right now they still alive. I hope they do survive. But just think about them in this moment, being team, when that cable snapping, before you know it, they getting whipped back the other way. Freaking crazy, man. And I just be sitting back like, man, if I was in that situation too, I don't know if I'd be thinking about it in the moment, but I just be like, it just had you like, man, why me? Why this damn cable had to snap while I was in this damn trolley thingy, whatever you want to call it? Why I had to snap now? This damn thing been going up and down all this time. And now that I'm in it with my family, now I want to do this crazy ish. Oh man, I hope they survive, being team. Let's find out.
Normally, in situations like this, the cable car's automatic hydraulic safety brake would have engaged within seconds, locking the cabin in place and preventing any further movement. But that day, the hydraulic safety brake did not engage. With no brakes whatsoever, the cabin rolled slowly at first, but within moments, it gained speed and disappeared from the CCTV view as it hurtled downhill. An absolute nightmare unfolded as the cabin gained momentum, now completely out of control. The cable car's deadly descent ended when it collided with the pylon further down the slope. This impact snapped it loose from the last cable that it was attached to, and the cabin, as well as the 15 people inside, plunged 55 meters or 180 feet down below. The cabin crashed to the ground and tumbled violently down the steep, rocky slope before slamming into a cluster of trees.
Damn!
This kind of impact was insane. Rescue teams rushed to the cable car, but by then, most of the passengers were dead. It was too late. 13 people died on impact, their injuries horrific. Debris.
Just the fact that Ryan said 180 feet, y'all, that damn, this was worse than what I thought. Jesus.
As well as shattered glass was scattered along the mountainside. One person was thrown out of the cabin and died tumbling down the mountain. Miraculously, 2 children were pulled from the wreckage alive. They were airlifted to a nearby hospital, and despite desperate efforts by doctors to save them, one of the children later died, bringing the death toll to 14. This left one sole survivor, a 5-year-old boy named Ethan Byron, a child from Israel. He was found barely conscious among the wreckage. He He was the only member of his family to survive. He was
Damn.
instantly orphaned.
A mountain cable car plunges to the ground in northern Italy, killing 14 people.
A climb to admire alpine beauty, ending in tragedy. The cable car was in the last part of its journey, nearly 1,500 meters high, when it plunged to the ground, killing most on board. It seems a cable near the final pylon broke away, but the cause isn't yet clear. Rescuers struggled to reach the densely wooded site, one fire vehicle even overturning en route. No teams were injured. An investigation will try to discover how and why a trip through this tourist idyll collapsed in disaster.
News of this tragedy quickly reached mainstream media, and it shocked Italy and the entire world. But as investigators pieced together what exactly had gone wrong, they uncovered some shocking details. Based on photos from the disaster site, experts determined that at least one of the gondola's emergency brakes had been deliberately disabled. A steel clamp had been placed on the brake, a device that is typically used during maintenance tasks. This prevented the emergency brakes from functioning whatsoever, and if the emergency brakes had been working, they would have locked the cabin in place when the cable snapped, preventing 14 people from losing their lives.
What the fuck?
3 days later, on May the 26th, 2021, 3 employees of the cable car company who were responsible for disabling this emergency brake were arrested. Further investigation revealed that the brake system had been malfunctioning for some time. It was frequently activating randomly due to a persistent hydraulic oil leak. This caused the gondolas to stop mid-ride, and in turn, cost the company money. Instead of fixing the issue, the employees made a reckless decision. They disabled the brake system and added the clamp, and this allowed the cable car to continue running without any interruptions, instead of fixing the oil leak that was causing the brake to fail.
Here go another one of those cases, Bean Team, that we have heard from Ryan more than one, more than two, more than 3 times over here, of these companies not giving a damn about their customer safety and caring more about the money and putting their freaking lives at risk. Oh my God, man. Like, seriously, that's why I started looking like, what? They disabled it deliberately. That, like, they knew they disabled the freaking emergency brakes. And come to find out they did it because they couldn't fix the problem. And instead of fixing the problem, they rather just put people's lives in danger. And now look where we at now. 14 lives gone, and it didn't even have to be the case.
Months, this dangerous workaround of the brake seemed to work, until May the 23rd, when it all went wrong and sealed the fate of almost everyone inside. Investigations also discovered that the traction cable that snapped had rusted from the inside. Now this is because routine maintenance that should have been carried out every 3 months was omitted for 5 whole years. Just bonkers. This entire accident was really a deadly disaster waiting to happen.
Yes.
By May the 30th, 2021, all 3 employees were released from prison. 2 were found not culpable, while the 3rd was only sentenced to 6 months of house arrest for his role in the disaster. What began as a peaceful ride turned into tragedy and horror, one that could have been easily avoided at every step.
I don't know how I feel about that one, y'all. As far as like the sentencing, I feel like somebody need to be held accountable at that company. Even if you just hold accountable the actual owner of the company. First of all, shut that shit down. Long story short, story long. They should never have that company. Should be done. But at least, like I said, the owner need to be held accountable. Somebody need to go to freaking prison for this ish, because I'm pretty sure the owner knew, and a lot of other people knew. The hell, even the employees, the maintenance men who's supposed to be doing this ish knew that these damn trolleys was not up to code, not up to standard. Ryan said that the cable that snapped had got so rusted because they ain't freaking oiled it up or whatever the freak they supposed to do in 5 years when it's supposed to happen every 3 months. You know what I'm saying, man? At this point, all y'all knew that y'all was not running this ish right, man. And every day you letting these families go up and down this freaking mountain, knowing that these trolleys could just snap or fall apart at any freaking time, or the lines or whatever. A tragedy tale, man. And the thing I just think about is, imagine the freaking the people who was in that damn thing while it was just falling backwards. I will say thank God that one child survived, but boy, he lost his whole family at the age of 5 years old. Crazy. Number 2.
Dashcams capture some of the most crazy clips to grace the internet. From near misses to outright catastrophes, they capture the lot. However, it's not often that footage like this emerges. The clip in question comes from northern Vietnam in, and excuse my pronunciation, I did try, Phong Chau, in the Phu Tho province, on September the 9th, 2024. That day, Vietnam was still in the grips of Super Typhoon Yagi, one of the most powerful storms to strike the region in decades. Before reaching Vietnam, Yagi had already left a trail of destruction all across Southeast Asia, killing dozens in the Philippines and its surrounding area. At its peak, Yagi was classified as a Category 5 equivalent super typhoon, with 1 minute sustained winds of 160 miles an hour, or 260 kilometers an hour. Yagi brought torrential rain, devastating storm surges, as well as widespread flooding wherever it went. When the typhoon made landfall in the north of Vietnam on September the 17th, 2 days previously, intense winds triggered landslides and flash floods, forcing over 50,000 people out of their homes. Rivers swelled beyond their banks, consuming homes, farmland and infrastructure. But by September the 9th, many believed and hoped that the worst was now past them. But nature wasn't done with them yet. On the 9th, heavy rains continued, pushing the famous Red River to its limits. This river begins in the Yunnan province in China and flows all the way through northern Vietnam. In Phong Chau, spanning the length of the river, was the Phong Chau Bridge, a critical link for traffic. This bridge, completed on July the 28th, 1995, was 375 meters long, or 1,230 foot, and it served as a vital lifeline for local traffic, with over 10,000 vehicles travelling over it every single day.
Dang.
But that fateful day, as rain continued to pound the region, locals carried on their routines, crossing the bridge, totally unaware of the impending danger. As people crossed the bridge, completely without warning, at around 10 AM in the morning, catastrophe struck. All captured on dashcam footage, vehicles moved steadily along the bridge until, all of a sudden, the central section of the bridge collapsed. Concrete and steel twisted violently as the structure plunged into the raging river below. Those who were on...
And look at this dude right here. I know he in so much shock right now. He don't even know what the hell. At this moment, he can't even make sense of what the freak didn't happen. Look how close he was to being down there with the rest of the people, man. Oh my God. Hold on, Bean Team. Let me just take that back real quick. We got to go back 10 seconds on that, man. Let's go.
All of a sudden, the central section of the bridge collapsed. Concrete and steel twisted violently as the structure plunged into the raging river below. Those who were on the bridge at the time had no time to react. As it collapsed, it brought with it 10 vehicles, including a truck, 2 trailers, 6 motorcycles, as well as a gent on an electric bike. Rescue teams and emergency services rushed to the scene, but when they got there, they were met with a total disaster. Instantly, they launched a desperate operation to save those in the water to try and stop them being swept away to their deaths. Initially, 13 people were missing. Divers and rescue boats fought powerful currents filled with debris and wreckage, and within hours, 3 survivors were pulled from the water. One motorcyclist who survived later described the ordeal as a brush with death. Rescue and recovery efforts continued, but by September the 23rd, only 3 bodies had been recovered from the river. 7 people still remain missing to this day. By the time Typhoon Yagi was finally weakened, it had caused an estimated of 83 trillion Vietnamese dollars worth of damage, equating to $3.5 billion US. The storm also left 322 people dead across Vietnam alone, making it the deadliest storm since Typhoon Linda in 1997, which claimed the lives of 3,000 people.
Yeah, it was a terrible freaking storm right there. That's a terrible typhoon, Bean Team. But man, this one right here goes to what I was saying earlier in one of the other ones we were watching, where it's just like, oh yeah, the one we just watched, where it's just like, why me, man? Why when I'm crossing this goddamn bridge you want to fall? You know what I'm saying, man? I think that just goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning, man. And I've said it a lot of times. Sometimes God just calling you home. Sometimes it's just your time to go. Your clock done ran the freak out, man. Oh my goodness, y'all. Seeing that bridge fall was crazy.
In the aftermath, the local government announced plans to rebuild the Fengshan Bridge. The project, valued at $26 million, promised a larger, stronger, and more resilient bridge, one that locals hoped would prevent such horrific tragedies from ever occurring again.
Crazy, Bean Team. And they're just one of those, like, I feel like it's a common phobia. And it may not be a phobia, but it's just a fear that I feel like a lot of people have in their head whenever they crossing over a bridge, man. You always have that thought of, what if this ish fall? Or before you cross it, you just thinking like, what if it fall? Especially if it's a very long bridge that you're going to be on for minutes and minutes and minutes. You know what I'm saying? For a couple of miles. And you can just literally see nothing but water the freak up under you, man, on both sides, knowing if this thing goddamn collapse for whatever freak ass reason like that, it ain't gonna be pretty. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of us out there, y'all, be thinking like that. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. Let's go to number one. And rest in peace to the people that died too. Rest in peace to them. Let's go. Number one.
This next truly insane clip was recorded near one of Hawaii's most iconic locations, the Nepali coast, situated on the northeast side of Kauai, one of Hawaii's islands, on February the 27th, 2024. Known for its jagged cliffs, emerald valleys, and turquoise waters, the Nepali coast stretches 17 miles along the island of Kauai, attracting adventurers and tourists from all across the globe. Hidden among this beautiful coastline sits the Honopu Beach, a secluded, untouched paradise rarely seen by the public. Unlike Hawaii's more accessible beaches, Honopu is practically off limits to most of the public. There are no roads, no trails, or any easy ways to reach it. The only way you can actually see it is by air or through a sanctioned boat tour along the Nepali coast. Even kayaking or swimming to this location is strictly off limits, so because of this, helicopter tours have become the preferred option for those seeking a luxury experience. One of the companies offering these sky-high adventures was the Jack Harter helicopters. For around $350, passengers could pay to soar above the Kauai waterfalls, its cliffs, as well as its secret beaches, seeing parts of the island that most could only dream about. On that
Oh Lord, Bean Team, you know what this reminded me of? Mr. Ballin' from freaking yesterday, man, with the people who was sightseeing, paying to go get in this commercial airplane to go sightsee over freaking Antarctica, and how it just out of nowhere just crashed into a freaking what it was, a volcano, and everybody just passed away just like that. It's giving me those type of vibes once again. People going to sightsee, and somebody gonna sightsee for the last time. Long story short, short story long.
Particular February day, the weather was perfect. There was clear skies, calm winds, and golden sunlight. It was the perfect time for a flight. As scheduled, 4 passengers, as well as the pilot, hopped into a Jack Harter tour helicopter, and within minutes, they were soaring high above the island, capturing breathtaking views that almost looked unreal. Seriously, it doesn't even look real, this footage. It's insanely beautiful. Everything seemed picture perfect, until it wasn't. Out of nowhere, the helicopter suddenly suffered engine failure. The sudden loss of power sent the helicopter into a auto-rotation, a controlled but rapid descent. Though the rotor blades continued spinning, at this point they had slowed significantly and the helicopter began dropping fast. With no time to waste, the pilot acted decisively, aiming for Honopu Beach, the nearest open stretch of land.
Oh.
As the helicopter descended towards the beach, seconds seemed to stretch into an eternity. The footage showed it approaching rapidly. At this point, it was clear that they were going down. Passengers, I bet, hoped and prayed for the best, completely helpless to aid their situation. You can only imagine the terror on board as everyone braced for impact.
Yes.
Then, about 25 seconds after the engine had failed, the helicopter made a hard landing on the sand and the footage cuts off.
Oh. I ain't gonna lie though, Bean Team. I gotta give that pilot credit. I gotta give the pilot credit, man, because I think there was a woman. I think she did the best job that she could as far as like landing that freaking helicopter after it didn't shut off in freaking mid air. And there was another crazy thing, just seeing how it just went from, the propeller just rotating and everything all good, then boom, it's just dead. The damn helicopter just died. You know what I'm saying? But I think she did a good landing job, y'all. I'm actually kind of hopeful that everybody survived this. It didn't look like that too bad of a crash. Let's find out. I'm nervous.
Absolutely terrifying. Emergency signals were picked up almost immediately, and rescue helicopters and boats rushed to the scene, expecting the worst. As they got to the beach, miraculously, despite the intensity of the crash, everyone on board survived. As I do say in these videos, clips before horror doesn't always mean death. Only one passenger sustained a back injury and was flown to the local hospital by air ambulance. The other 3 passengers, as well as the pilot, were rescued by another Jack Harter helicopter, and I can't imagine what was going through their heads as they boarded onto another helicopter from the same company right after crashing. Despite everyone surviving, this incident is a chilling reminder that air travel can go wrong in an instant. You've all seen those plane crashes in just 2025 alone, which I probably will be covering, by the way. It's kind of crazy that this can all just happen within an instant. While engine failures are rare and do often give warning signs beforehand, sometimes they just happen without notice. However, thanks to the skill and quick thinking of the pilot, a potential horrifying tragedy was narrowly avoided. His calculated actions not only saved his own life, but also the lives of all 4 passengers.
Man.
But that is the end of the video. May all those featured rest in peace. Now honestly, this video was just crazy. From the botched backflip to the bridge collapse in Vietnam, I'm always sat here shocked. With cameras in everyone's pockets, it's truly insane what is captured on film nowadays.
Yeah.
The backflip that went wrong in South Africa was just truly devastating. I truly had to stop researching for the day because the guy involved was only 23, younger than me, and he lost his life in an instant in front of a crowd of people. It's tragic that it cost him his life in the most brutal way. Then we've got the David Holmes helmet footage. What was he thinking? Actually, I do know what he was thinking. He wasn't. He showed a clear lack of care for himself and others, and while it is truly tragic that he passed away, I am very glad that nobody else had to die in this accident as well. I honestly don't think it's fair that the Clio driver lost his license because of it. While yet,
Didn't I say that earlier, Bean Team? I said that earlier, man, and Ryan agreed with me. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of y'all out there that agree with me too. I don't feel like that man should have lost his license for that ish. Rest in peace of David, but I don't feel like that.
he should have seen him coming. At the speed at which he was traveling, I'm not surprised he was missed. I do think it's amazing that his mother used her son's death to warn others about the dangers on the road, likely saving many lives. But if you ride motorbikes, please let this be a lesson. Don't ride too fast and take caution on the road, because it can all end in an instant.
Yep.
Of course, then we covered the tragic cable car incident in Italy. That one I've been wanting to cover for some time. While it is a well-known case, it still shocked me to my core. The fact that one child lost his entire family within an instant just doesn't bear thinking about. Just imagine what he witnessed when he opened his eyes to the wreckage of that cable car. Oh, God, it's just horrible. What makes it all the more tragic is the fact that they had disabled the emergency brake to ensure that it continued to run, but they also failed to conduct proper maintenance on the cables at all. These decisions cost many people their lives, and the people who did this were barely held responsible for it. I personally won't be going on any cable cars after this. I'll walk or just not bother. The bridge footage in Vietnam was also shocking. Like, I didn't see that coming when I first saw the clip. It pains me to think about the 7 people that were never recovered. They were just going about their day, and then suddenly they fell into water, washed downstream, never to be seen again. And last, but certainly not least, the helicopter footage in Hawaii. That clip left my palms sweaty. The noises and the pitch of the blade increasing as they went towards the ground, it just gave me pure anxiety. I think I would have had a heart attack before it even crashed into the ground. It's a serious miracle that they survived, because as you know from this channel, most helicopter crashes are fatal for all aboard.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the only reason they survived was due to the quick thinking of the pilot, as well as him landing on the sand, which would have broken the impact slightly. Regardless, what a shocking thing to go through. But most importantly, what did you guys think of this one? As you guys know, I try to read each and every comment, so do let me know your thoughts below. However, just before I go, if you're already not aware, we now have a Patreon. Over there, I'll be uploading videos 24 hours early, as well as completely uncensored and uncut. Oh, and ad-free. Now, this doesn't mean overly graphic, just how my videos were always intended to be viewed, without censoring. So, if you want to support me, as well as enjoy ad-free, uncut videos, click that link in the description below and check it out. Oh, and while you're down there, if you're not subscribed and you've made it this far into the video, what are you doing? Go ahead and smash that subscribe button now, as well as tickle that notification bell to be alerted at when I release content such as this. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Another great video from our brother from another mother, Ryan from Tragedy Tales Being Team. I really enjoyed this one, y'all, and it felt like it ended real fast. Like, you know what I'm saying, man? I think I've said this once before, but I'll say it again, man. I can sit up here and watch Ryan for like an hour every time with y'all. I don't know how long we've been watching, but I feel like I could have watched even more, man. But first and foremost, rest in peace to everybody who passed away that Ryan told us about in these clips before horror, man. And let's just start back with the number one, the one we just saw. Hey, Being Team, I said it, man. I was hoping and I was praying. I was like, I think these people gonna survive though, and they did. But if you look at that helicopter, you look at the helicopter and how effed up it was, you would be like, man, I don't think nobody would survive this, but they did. And you can kind of like see it in the video, like that pilot dude did a good job. And I think Ryan ended up saying it was a man. Regardless, whoever the pilot was, man, they did a great job. They did not panic. They went straight for the land, you know what I'm saying, man, and they landed the best way they could. One thing that Ryan said that was crazy though was the fact that, damn, man, we just got in a freaking accident in one of y'all helicopters. Now we gotta get in another one to get the F out of here. After that, I would never get in a helicopter again, Being Team. Just seriously. Me personally, I always told myself, I done been telling myself this since 2020, that I'm never getting in a helicopter because of what happened to my brother from another mother, Kobe Bean Bryant, man. You know what I'm saying? What happened to the Bean would just always stick with me and the his daughter and all the other people who got into that helicopter crash. So I doubt I will ever get in a freaking helicopter, man. But I'm just glad those people survived. What was the one before that, Being Team? I ain't gonna hold y'all too long because I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It's so much I can say about all these stories. Like, I can go on and on and on and on and on about all these, man. But I don't be trying to hold y'all too long. So we're gonna move on to the fourth one. The fourth one with the bridge. The freaking bridge, man. One of the most sad things about that is that those people, I think it was 7 people who ended up passing away, their bodies was never found. You know what I'm saying? So they family can't get no closure with it. And like I said, man, I do feel like that's a fear that a lot of us have out here going over bridges. You know what I'm saying? There's always that thought that pop up in your head of what if this is collapse? And that whole just typhoon was terrible anyway. I think Ryan said over like 300 and some people lost their lives just because of the storm, man. Freaking terrible. The one before that with the cable car. Hey, in a minute, I'm about to say I ain't gonna never get in no cable car dead by like BT. Seriously, man, after hearing about that one, man. And those people, that crash was deadly. We blessed, and he blessed that little 5-year-old boy survived, man. But 14 of them died. And I just sit back and just think about how was they feeling in that moment? Because you know what I'm saying? It took a little minute. I'm not really saying it took a minute, but you get what I'm saying, man. Like there was a moment where this freaking trolley was going back the other way, falling to the ground. You got 15 people in there, all their momentum pushing them that way. Can you imagine the screaming and terrifiedness that was going on inside that cable car while that ish was happening to them? And then as soon as they hit impact, a lot of them gone, man, just freaking gone. Rest in peace to them too, Bean Team. The one before this, now this the controversial one, but Ryan said what I said too, Bean Team. Rest in peace to David, but man, I don't feel like Benjamin should have got charged with nothing. Why he got his goddamn, let me stop, this ain't the right time to be cussing, but why he had to get his driver license took away from him? I don't feel like none of this was his fault. Then somebody driving that fast, they could not sneak up on you, but you get what I'm saying? They could appear real fast, like, you know what I'm saying, before you can react. And like I said, y'all, regardless of he wasn't paying attention or not, for real, just the fact that David was going over 100 freaking miles per hour, violating the freaking traffic laws, all up in the other lanes. Rest in peace to him, but I don't feel like Benjamin should have been charged with none of that. And number one, long story short, story long, Bean Team. I know I said I wasn't gonna keep y'all, I ain't trying to keep you here too long, and I'm still going on. But with the number 1 or number 5, however you look at it, the first one that we watched, the Backflip, y'all. That's one of them ones where it's just so quick and it's just so like, man, maybe God just was freaking calling him home. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it just really was his time to go. Then I just look at the footage and look at the what was happening in that moment. You got a crowd of people, all these people here excited, happy. It's a good, joyous event. You got the little kids in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And then for that to happen to him right there, that's something that a lot of those people will never ever freaking forget. But I digress. I'm gonna go let y'all go now, Bean Team. I appreciate y'all coming on back as always, Bean Team. And before you leave, just please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that if you ain't did that yet. And remember this: love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.